Hello and welcome to ARK, complete series. Well, as you can see, we're over in Aberration. I mean, we did actually head over to Extinction, but I've quickly come back here, to be honest, because it's a case of I was kind of keen to get started with the gachas, but I've got unfinished business over here. I want to be able to defeat Rockwell at alpha level. Now, the strategy that I use to take them down at beta level, it's a case of, well, I've got nothing to show for it at the end. I lose all my gear. I mean, I don't have a trophy to stick on the wall down there. So I want to be able to beat them at alpha level, and that means I need dinos to go into that fight with me. I mean, I've got some Spinos, Megalos, for instance, over there, but they're just not cutting it. I mean, I've been doing quite a bit of testing, and I've come to the conclusion we're missing a key dino that's on this map. Yeah, Reaper Kings. So Billy Bob there, he's actually the first Reaper King that I've got on this playthrough. Because I was testing out server settings, I've been testing out the traps, just to make sure everything goes as well as it could be, and yeah, I'm pretty impressed so far. So that's what this episode's about, is going out and getting yourself a Reaper Queen so that she'll give you a Reaper King so that you can then breed and effectively imprint your own Reaper King, and then take them into the boss fight against Rockwell. So where we've got to head to is right down to that southern area, all that darkened area where it's got the radiation. You've got your choices of left side, right side, and so far what I'm finding it is pretty random. So it's a case of, I'm going to head for the left side. I'm going to start over where the blue zone meets the red zone, because over there I've already got a trap, and I'll show you what that's like. Because that's, I mean, I quite like that area, it's a pretty good place. So I'm going to head over there, and once we're there, I'll bring you back. Well, we're in an area of the map where the red zone and the blue zone meet. So if we have a look on the GPS and on our map, we're about 61, getting on to 73 there. We've got a few choices here. We've got a left tunnel, a middle tunnel. And the middle tunnel is quite actually interesting, because if you go down there and just keep right, you'll eventually loop back on yourself. There's like a metal structure all the way around there, and that's where you'll end up coming out of. So it's a nice loop for you if you want to use that. And the spawn rates are pretty good. I mean, what I tend to do is clear the whole area out, and it seems to help with the you know, the Reaper Queen spawns. Because bear in mind, the map that we've got, I mean, the max level's 150. I think there seems to be something like 3, maybe 4 high level, really high level, like 140 up Reaper Queens we get on the map at any one time. So you're going to have to spend a lot of time down here clearing these other ones out. Different ways of doing it. For me, it's a case of, I like to use this trap. I was having a look online. There's quite a few of them. Because, I mean, it's a while since I've played Aberration and you know, tamed up a Reaper King. This trapper is actually quite interesting, I must admit, compared to some of the early ones, especially because this one's very portable. So it's got 8 triangle foundations, 8 triangle ceilings, 8 double doorways, and then over there you've got 6 stairways. So it's fairly light to carry. It doesn't take that many resources to make, so you can easily build one of these and bring it with you, or you can, you know, use the resources around to make one in a place where you need it to be. So it's definitely useful. And I mean, I found this one on Captain Fat Dog's YouTube channel, so it's, yeah, definitely good, I must admit. I mean, I've tested it a few times, and most of the times it works. Sometimes it doesn't. And when I say sometimes it doesn't, it's a case of when it comes to the impregnation, where the Reaper Queen has to pick you up, and then she'll basically give you a bit of a jab, and sometimes that doesn't work. I mean, this is a lot better to me because of there's a heck of a lot of clearance here, but sometimes she seems to get stuck. Sometimes the tail kind of glitches, and you end up like half under the ground, and so does the tail, and it doesn't quite work. So yeah, most of the times it works basically. But I mean, this place is pretty good because we're over in outside of the radiation. I mean, if you get radiation when you're pregnant, that's it. The pregnancy's lost. So it's quite useful in that if something were to go wrong in that process, you know, my armor breaks just at the time of getting pregnant. well, it doesn't really matter because I'm outside the radiation zone. Likewise, I've got a little hut over here, so I can always respawn here, and I'll respawn in. Yeah, I won't have any armor, any hazard suit on me, but it doesn't really matter because it's you know, there's no radiation here. I mean, to be honest, what I was doing actually is I put a bed there so that I could actually fast travel back to the main base. That saves me quite a bit of time because once you get pregnant, you've got to get as much XP as you can. The maximum level is about 75 that you can get, and then once you've done that, yeah, you've got. It's a case you've got to wait till the pregnancy to finish. But because of where our base is at, I get a lot of XP off the Spinos. I've just got to go up that river and back down again, and I'll easily get that 75 XP that I need. Another reason I like this place is because we're close to water as well. The good thing is that, I mean, we've got to spend a heck of a lot of time. I mean, this is pretty much a lottery, you know, trying to find a decent Reaper Queen. So we're going to spend a lot of time here, so it's a case of I do run out of water, and I can just go back to here to get it. Food's okay because I'll just bring a stack down and I'll last quite a while with that stack. I've got an extra set of armour on me. Just in case, because that'll only last so long. It's got good durability, I must admit, but yeah, by having that water there as well, it really helps. Another useful thing I've got as well is just around this corner. We've actually got one of the plants that will heal the rock drake as well, so that's dead useful. Because you don't want to spend too much time healing up, especially like a radiation zone. If you're in a radiation zone over there and you're healing up, your rock drake, the trouble is your radiation or hazard suit's taking damage all the time. So definitely useful. The only thing is, I think the nearest charge node I found is like across the lake over there. So that's a charge node that's outside of the radiation. There are some in there, but the trouble is you're going to be sitting twiddling your thumbs waiting for your charge pet to get its light back up to full strength. And in the meantime, you know, your hazard suit's taking damage. But anyhow, what's the strategy we're going to use? Well, we've got a trap, and what I'm doing is I'm either going up the left tunnel or down the middle tunnel, and then I'm going to drag a Reaper Queen back to here. It doesn't matter whether it's high level or low level, it seems to be an easier strategy for me, because if I take the rock drake out there and take on one of these Reaper Queens, yeah, I can probably take it down, but I end up with, you know, losing a lot of health, because I mean, the rock drake doesn't have a pretty good DPS. It'll do a lot of damage, but it's slow to actually do that damage. Likewise, it'll probably run out of stamina before I've even killed like a level 15 Reaper Queen, by which time we're down to like half health by the time I've actually killed one of these things while I'm out there. So for me, it's easier and quicker, I feel, to actually drag it back to this trap. I've got a wrecking crew over there, basically. I've got 2 Spinos and I've got 2 Megalos, so they're, you know, both sets are made boosted, so they can hand out quite a bit of damage as long as we've got the light on. Otherwise, the Reaper Queen's got, I think it's like 80% damage resistance. But those Spinos will always hand out a lot of damage. The Megalos, it varies. Sometimes it's a lot of damage, sometimes it's hardly anything. It's just because sometimes they're still doing that stupid, grabbing mechanism. In contrast, if I go out there and I just try to take this Reaper Queen on myself, yeah, I'll end up having to then spend a long time trying to take it down, and then I'll have to spend a long time healing my Drake back up. So, what are we going to do then? So, we're going to head up the left tunnel first. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you'll get an actual queen will spawn along here. I'm going to have to turn the actual light pet off, just because of the fact that I'm going to get hassled by seekers if I don't. I mean, the nameless do pop up. I think that's usually my biggest problem down here, is get things getting in my way more than anything. Anyway, up here you usually get one of these Reaper Queens will spawn. You usually get about 2 of them. The nameless is spawning at the moment, but at a push you've got a plant down there to help heal you. So I usually just have to come up here and there'll be one of these Reaper Queens will spawn around here. If not, we can get we'll get one that usually spawns along here somewhere. And there's one right over there. So basically the strategy would be to literally just get its attention and then we'll drag it back. All the time just trying to stay out of the way of all these other things that are hassling me. Now what I like to do is I like to make sure she stays on the surface if she can. She's actually stuck on a blooming rock, believe it or not. Seriously, she's stuck on a rock. I mean, to be honest, I'll want to clear all of these things out anyway. The more I clear these lot out, the better a chance I've got of something actually, you know, an actual Reaper Queen spawn. This moment, this is a problem, to be honest, because if she doesn't surface, oh, that's okay. If she doesn't surface, I could end up with a situation where she actually ends up invisible. And what happens then is she'll, I think it's some sort of glitch. It's been known of well, since this thing was made. So I prefer to make sure that when she's following me, she is actually on the surface. Otherwise, what happens is you get this weird problem where she'll bury herself and she'll start following you underground. And when she does that, she will then surface, or it looks like you'll get this big mound of earth suddenly appears. But she's not there. Oh, boobar. Come on. Surface. That's alright. Yeah, you end up with this big pile of mud, sand, whatever it is. And she's actually underneath the ground. I mean, if you go into camera mode, you'll see her underneath the actual ground. And even though she's like she's out of view, if you will, she can still attack you. You can still attack her. But it's like, well, there's no way she's going to be able to impregnate you. And the only fix for that is to literally to go out of render distance and then come back. Now the trouble is, if you then dragged an invisible Reaper into a trap like that, if you go out of render distance and come back, chances are she'll respawn outside of it anyway, because she's literally underneath the ground. Anyway, what level is this one? Level 10, right, we don't want that one, so what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to clear this out. I'm going to send the wrecking crew in. Now they can't do that much damage as long as there's no light, so all of us together we should be able to take this down real quick. You can see the stamina on this rock will go down quite far. You can see some high numbers in there, and you can see some pretty low numbers, and the low numbers are the ones coming from Megalosaurus when they're doing that grab mechanism. 375s coming from the spinals, the rest are coming from those two megalos. So those megalos, they can do a heck of a lot of damage. There we go. Oh, stamina. If that had just been me, the rock drake, it would have taken me much quicker to do that. Right, come on you lot. So I'll just wait for them to go over there. And I do prefer using the rock drake because it doesn't have that big a problem with the actual the knockback. It's a case of those lot, even the Spinos can get knocked all over the place. And I mean, going up that tunnel there over to the right, there's like a ravine, and if they go off the top, you'll end up in element ore. And the problem then is, well, yeah, even if you can get out, chances are your pet doesn't, because you'll literally fall into it. You'll go underneath the element ore like you do with water. Your bulldog ends up on the surface, and then you're busy trying to scramble out there while your armor's broken and everything. So it's, yeah, even going in with Spinos, Megalos, I find it's better just to stick with a rock drake. Anyhow, so that's the left tunnel. So right tunnel. Turn this off. One thing I'll say is keep your eye out for little mounds where the Pavlovias bury themselves, because that's a real pain. Seriously. That seems to be the biggest problem I've got, is trying to stay out the way of things, because I keep getting stuck on them. The Spinos and the drakes, other drakes will attack you, but everything else tends to leave you alone. Well, yeah, you get the names. But anyway, coming down this road here, got a Reaper Queen there that's starting to spawn. Usually it'll spawn over there. I'll keep coming further down. There's one tends to spawn to the left sometimes. There's one spawns in front, or there's that one you'll see on the right. Now if I just keep following this road around though, what we can do is you've got choices. If you take a right, you'll eventually come out near where that structure is if you just stick to the right. There is a plant there. If you take a left though, you can get a route that might spawn down to my left there. We've then got these spores we come through. Just keep coming through here. At the bottom of here, you can get another Reaper Queen might spawn down here. So this is another useful spawn point. You might get another one spawns over to the right there. Oh, there's one spawning there. Sometimes you'll get one spawning to the left. That's about as far as I probably want to go. So either way, if you do get one, even if you do get one, you want to drag that back, in the opposite direction, back up the ramp, and that's where we're back at now. We're at the bottom of that ramp. As it would come down here, we took a left instead. So this time I'm going to take a right so I can get back out again. But I would still suggest let me just clear everything out. And then you've got a better chance of something spawning. I mean, incidentally, what I've done is I've disabled all harvesting on this rock drake for now. Just because the problem's going to be is it's just going to get its inventory full, it's going to get heavy, it's just not going to be able to go anywhere. That's not really what really practical, is you just want to keep getting out of everybody's way, basically. Right, let's turn my light back on. Get our stamina back, and then I'll show you another little area where we've been working. So, I mean, that's pretty good, I feel, because there's quite a few spawn up that left tunnel, and as well as up down the middle one. So there's quite a lot of spawning going on, and it is pretty, constant. You're just gonna have to spend a lot of time clearing, ones out that you don't want. Like I say, I just find it easier taking them back to a trap and then getting the wrecking crew to take them out. So I'm going to keep going along this left tunnel again. I mean, if all you were going to do is focus on this tunnel... Oh, that wasn't the plan. If you were just going to focus on the left tunnel for those queens around here, you'd probably either, find them around here or you'd go to the right, but there's another little area that I've picked out, so we're going to take a left here. I keep coming around here. Pretty easy to get to. So it's around here. So I can't obviously drag anything back because of the fact we've got that big ramp there. But if we come down here, there's you can get an actual Reaper Queen spawning around here at times. And I mean, there's a charge node if you need it for your light pet. So sometimes one will spawn around this area here. But there's usually quite a few of them spawn over there, so that's the reason I've actually got that trap there. So I usually come along here and there's like a few of them. Oh, there's one starting to spawn there. So again, what I can do is I can pull that one back to this trap, get it stuck in there. And over here I've got two spinos to help me out. Every time I come over here I've got to keep clearing these trees out because they keep regrowing. Let's clear these out of the way. Because otherwise the spinos keep getting stuck on them. But they're a good wrecking crew as well. But to make life easier over here, I've actually got a tech generator and a teleporter. So that's the S Plus teleporter. It's just the same as the normal one, except it's just smaller. So instead of this big massive platform, it's just that little rod, if you will. But the principle's the same. I can teleport to and from base. So if I do get a high level queen here, I can just teleport back to base. Or, if I'm coming in on another day, I just need a teleport over here with the Drake. Now, principle's the same, basically just going up and down here, because there's quite a few of them that can spawn over in this area as well. I just want to keep the area cleared out. One thing I would suggest is when you do actually get a high level one, leave the actual light cap turned off for a while just to make sure you clear out all of the nameless. Last thing you want is the nameless attacking you. Just out of curiosity, let's see what that is. Ooh, there's a high level something around here. I don't see this. Right, see if we can get a trap in here. I say I'm not really fussed whether it's like high level or low level. Either way, I've either got to keep it or get rid of it. What level are you? No, that's not bad actually. That's a level 70. Right, I'm going to get the reckoning tool onto this one. So I'm just going to head up here. So this should go a lot easier. One thing I'll say about that trap mine is that if you go out a render distance, it is possible that that thing will actually spawn, or respawn I should say, outside of the trap. So yeah, when you build these traps, be careful where you put them, just in case you do have to get out the way. Anyway, I'm just going to clear this one out, and I'm going to focus on the left hand side, because the whole thing is just a lottery game. Once I get something useful, I'll bring you back. Well, we're now over on the right hand side of the map, because I want to see if my luck's going to change, because this is just getting crazy. I've been at this for days now. I mean, things seem to be going quite well, because I did manage to find a 140, and it was a case of, oh, it's just on the side of a ravine, so I jumped across hoping it would like follow me, but it didn't. It kind of like, it just kind of like fell down. I never saw anything of it again. And then there was a 130 started following me, but by the time I got back to the trap, it was invisible, so it was like literally underneath the ground. So it was a case of, well, yeah, that ain't gonna happen either. So that didn't go to plan. And eventually I did manage to get a 145, actually in a trap, and I could see it. And I started, bringing its health down. The only trouble was, well, I kind of fluffed it. When I was using the magnifying glass to check its health, it turned out I was actually looking at the health of the rock drake. So yeah, unfortunately, I accidentally killed that one. So yeah, so since then, I think the highest I've had is about 100. Normally they're like level 5, 10s and 15s. They're just like seriously low. So I've come over here to this left side, just hoping, above all hope, that my luck's going to change. So there's this big massive area here. So I've been clearing the area out because there's two of these Reaper Queens actually over there. I've taken one out already out of this area, and that was a level 10. Fortunately, there's a plant species up there. There's actually one over in that direction beyond where those crystals are. And it turns out one of these two is a 150. Now I don't know if it's the one on the left or it's the one on the right, because the last thing I want is actually both of them following me. I mean, I've actually had one of the actual Megalosauruses over here. The rest of them are just spread all over the map. I've got about 2 different places that I've been sort of searching, but I'm not really getting much joy over there, so hence I'm down to literally just one Megalosaur to help me if I need it. The only oh, hello. Which one's that one? Oh, this is the 5 one, right? Let's see. The trouble is that I've had times over on the left-hand side where I've literally been able to clear one of these out, and another one suddenly decided to show up at the same time. So hopefully that won't happen this time. I don't want that 150 turning up at the same time. Right, so hopefully that's the 150 and it's still intact. So in the meantime, it's just going to be a case of we're going to clear this one out. And once we get with this one, I mean, I'll go back up to the plant there and I'll heal. And then fingers crossed, I'll have that one, well, what is it? It's hoping it's still 150. Because, I mean, it chased me all the way over those red crystals. And it was a case of, I didn't have a trap. I mean, I brought a trap over me. I was trying to clear this whole area. The next thing I know is about 3 meters on me. There's a basilisk as well. I'm about to spend quite a bit of time clearing here. Yeah, so fingers crossed. That is a 150 over there. Right then, fingers crossed. I mean, that thing's churning up the surface over there. So I'm hoping it's still the 150 that I saw before. Yeah, max level it's picking up. Let's clear these. Run away! Come on, follow us into the trap. You know you want to. That's the plan. Don't do what some of the other stupid ones have done. Right, let's get out of the way. Right, let's see. What level are you? Yeah. Oh, it's a 150. Right, I'm just going to go out of the way. Because what I've noticed is they can sometimes like turn around. They end up facing towards the stair. So it's like they're no longer interested in me. It makes my life a bit easier, because then if they're not targeting me, it makes that fight a heck of a lot easier. Because one thing I've noticed, for some stupid reason, I didn't bring any stimulants with me. But anyway, you live and learn. Right, so are you stuck? So at the moment I'm just keeping a bit of a distance from this thing and just taking chunks out of it. I mean, at some point it's gonna, well, kind of like I think it's gonna realise this is not a good idea, and it's gonna eventually manage to get until it's stuck, and then it'll start coming up with me again. But in the meantime, yes, it's. Whee! I mean, I could keep going, to be honest. I mean, I could just keep hitting it. Because, I mean, the Drake can take quite a lot of damage, but... I mean, what I've done is I've really spec'd them up more for damage than health, though, that's the thing. Speaking of things, don't carry weight too much, do. Let's dump this stuff first. Right, so it's turned itself around again, so we'll go and bite it in the bum again. Oh, bloody. These seekers are weird. Of course, it's either them or nameless, I must admit. So we're hitting quite a lot, I must admit. Doing 503 damage with this dude now, so quite amazing. Because otherwise, I say, I mean, if I attack it, while it's actually interested in attacking back, you start taking torpedo damage. I can say I'm going to be here for a while. I mean, I've got to wait until it gets like seriously good. Fingers crossed I won't mess it up. But I mean, normally you can tell where you get the blood will be literally all over the place. So yeah, I'm going to be here for a while because this is at level 150. So yeah, let's see when we're ready to get impregnated. Well, thanks for making it to the end of this episode. I really do hope you enjoyed it. If so, then please leave a like, as it'll encourage YouTube's algorithms to suggest the video to others who might like it as well. If you have any tips or tricks for ARK, then please leave them in a comment below, as it would benefit anyone watching this. Though I appreciate any feedback at all, even if it's just to say hello. If you're new to the channel, then consider subscribing. It's free. Just remember to click the little bell icon though, as you should get reminders then when new content goes out. And if you'd like to support the channel, then consider becoming a Patreon. Alternatively, there's the option to make a one-off contribution through PayPal. I've left links for both options in the description below. But above all, I hope you like watching these videos as much as I enjoy playing ARK. Bye!